name is Sydney and I'm the Scotland Youth Program Coordinator for UJIA. I am this morning out for a walk in Dalmally in Argyll in central Scotland, and it is so beautiful that I wanted to take a break and speak to you a little bit about land. So much of Jewish tradition is centered around our connection to the land. So we have our three major festivals, our three harvest festivals, Sukkot, Shavuot, and Pesach, which were harvest festivals when people harvested and brought the crops to the temple. Even the holidays, like Tu B'Shvat, is celebrated at the beginning of the growing season in Israel, and it's all tied to the way that the land functioned in Israel and how our ancestors used the land for their daily lives and for their ritual practice. But it's not just in our ancient tradition that the Jewish people find connections to land. Also, in our much more recent history, we've been very involved in land and our connection to nature, particularly in the building of the modern state of Israel. Farming and agriculture were huge parts of the building up of the modern state of Israel. Many people moved to kibbutzim, which were small collective villages where they worked the land and shared things together as a community. I want to share with you some quotes from one of my favorite Zionist thinkers, whose name is Aaron David Gordon, or Adi Gordon. So Adi Gordon was born in 1856 in what was then part of the Russian Empire, and he moved to Israel. He made Aliyah in 1904 when he was 48 years old. And at the time, many of the immigrants who were moving to Israel were quite a bit younger, and they were moving to Israel and they were really working hard to build up the land. And Adi Gordon came and he did physical labor right along with the young people. People told him, go be indoors, hire people to do your work, and he said, no, I'm building up the Jewish homeland, I'm building up my homeland, and I'm going to do it myself. I want to share with you some of the texts that he wrote. These are quotes from his essays. So he said, we have come to our homeland in order to be planted in our natural soil from which we have been uprooted, to strike our roots deep into its life-giving substances, and to stretch out our branches in the sustaining and creating air and sunlight of our homeland. Adi Gordon really saw the physical working of the land as a spiritual connection, that some people connect spiritually through prayer or by volunteering or by doing other mitzvot like reading from the Torah or keeping kosher, and Adi Gordon really saw his connection, his spirituality, is coming through doing this physical work. By building this house, by connecting with these land, by harvesting these crops, by eating these vegetables that I've grown, I'm being spiritual, I'm connecting with something larger than myself. These pioneers set out to do something incredibly difficult that many people said that they would not be able to. We see the Negev desert in the south of Israel, which is a huge desert, and people said, why do you want to move here? Nothing can grow here. How are you going to support yourself? And today we see beautiful vegetables being grown across the Negev desert, and we say that they're literally making the desert bloom. To be able to experience nature is a very, very special opportunity. And I think for the pioneers who were building up the modern state of Israel, they had the opportunity, although it was a lot of hard work, to get really up close and personal with the land that they were surrounding themselves with. They got their hands dirty, they sweated, they were involved in hard physical labor, and because of that, the fruit that they tasted was all the sweeter. I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful metaphor. If you're able to take a seed, something so tiny, and it is able to grow into a tree that has fruits and vegetables that you can eat, then surely we as people can also grow and can also nourish others. They often didn't have experience with farming or with hard physical labor, and this was difficult for them. It was hard, it wasn't easy. It's not like they moved to Israel and they had a cushy life. They moved to Israel and they had to do all sorts of difficult things that they weren't used to, but that's something exciting. It's exciting for us to have to do hard work. And the same is true now with this pandemic. It's not easy. It's not easy for us to make these choices. It's not easy to not know what the future holds. It's not easy to be stuck alone. It's not easy, any of the things that we're going through, but we have the power to experience these hard things, to do good work, to make hard choices, and to grow into better people. So I hope that all of you, all of us, can help each other get through this difficult time and continue to grow and live out our dreams. And as great Zionist thinker Theodor Herzl once said, Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will it, it is no dream. So thank you for joining us and have a great week.